The passing of the anti-rape law in 1997 was considered as a landmark law, a huge leap in protecting Filipino women from rape and sexual abuse. But as theories and practice inevitably drift from each other, its promising measures have not all materialized. The law also contained controversial provisions that may only disadvantage victims. To start, legal clarity of consent is lacking. Failure to define consent may lead courts to have different interpretations and may rule that a victim consented to sexual intrusion. Victims' exertion of physical resistance should not be an element in establishing a crime of rape, for some may react to the trauma through what is called the freeze or flight response, which are also our body's natural reaction to danger. Second, statutory rape is only committed if the victim is under 12 years old. The law accepts consent from children aging 12 years and above. This means sexual intercourse with a child older than 11 can already be legal, but it may only constitute child abuse and exploitation and not as an act of statutory rape. However, victims can still file a rape case. Legislators filed several bills that seek to raise the age of sexual consent. Proposals range from 15 to 18 years old. As of writing, both the House of Representatives and Senate panels approved the proposed measures to raise the age of sexual consent to 16 years old. However, it is still pending to be enacted into law. Third is forgiveness clause, or effect of pardon. Subsequent valid marriage between the victim and the perpetrator will extinguish the crime of rape and the penalty imposed. This allows offenders to escape criminal liability after marrying the victim. Further, it counters the definition of rape as a public crime. Fourth is the Rape Shield under Victim Assistance and Protection Act of 1998. Courts will not admit a complainant's past sexual conduct or his or her reputation unless such evidence is material and relevant to the case. This provision may be subjected to judicial interpretation that undermines protection for women. The condition should be removed to ensure that past sexual conduct of a victim is never relevant. Fifth, rape crisis centers under RA 8505 have yet to materialize. Even those in the Women's Desk and other agencies are not equipped in handling cases. As a result, victims do not get the assistance and protection they need to recover. In the Cordillera region, there is only one government-run facility where victims may seek for assistance. Next is lack of accountability for state perpetrators. Convicted public officials and uniformed personnel easily escape the punishment of their crimes. Most of them are simply transferred from their current jurisdiction where they committed rape or are pardoned as they silence their victims through compensation or marriage. Lastly is the rehabilitation of perpetrators. Rape Victim Assistance and Protection Act of 1998 provides that a referral system shall be established for services to the perpetrators to prevent occurrences of incidences of rape. However, there seems to be no facility yet organized for the rehabilitation of perpetrators of rape. These loopholes have already been actualized in many rape cases in the country. One of these was the case of Katrina and Isabel from Mankayan, Benguet. Both were minors when they were lured by an army captain to a military camp in Ifugao and were gang raped for days. Unfortunately, justice was deprived from the victims when the perpetrators were able to escape criminal liability. A recent case relevant to RA 8505 is the killing of a 15-year-old rape victim in Ilocos Sur after filing a complaint against 2 police officers who molested her. The victim was unjustly denied of her request for a police escort by the women's desk. On her way home, she was shot to death by her perpetrators. To end the series with a silver lining, a bill to amend the current anti-rape law was filed in Congress by the Makabayan Bloc. Included in the proposed amendments are provisions to correct the flaws mentioned that can better serve justice to many rape victims. Despite the progressive steps taken by many women legislators and women's groups, our society is still influenced by sexist values that look at women as objects of pleasure or as subordinates to men. In the region, many cases are unreported, for most victims are encouraged to consider compensation or marriage to settle the crime. Still, there is hope in the growing women's movement and the progressing revival of positive Cordillera indigenous culture that gives a high regard for women. Let us continue to work hand in hand to break the culture of violence and impunity that perpetuates rape.